Assalamualaikum to everyone. We are going to start a new chapter today, which is supply. Our today's topic is law of supply and its limitations. This topic pertains to HSE Part II. Before we will discuss the law of supply and its limitations, let us have a brief reflection on the meaning of law of supply. Like law of demand, law of supply has also a significance in the economics. Law of supply shows a functional relationship between price and quantity supplied of a commodity. But unlike to that of law of demand, which shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded, and there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demand of a commodity in the law of demand. But here, law of supply, which shows a functional relationship between price and output, or you can say price and quantity supplied of a commodity, but the difference is the price and quantity supplied of the commodity moves to the same direction. There is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied of the commodity. The law of supply explains that other things remaining constant, quantity supplied of a commodity increases with a rise in price and falls with a fall in price. Or in other words, you can say a seller is ready to sell at a higher price than at a lower price. The law can be explained, other things remaining constant, quantity supplied of a commodity rises or expands with a rise in price, and it tends to reduce with a fall in price. This is how the law of supply is explained. Now we are going to explain the similar law, I mean to say the law of supply, with the help of a schedule and diagram. We have a schedule here to explain, which means the explanation of the law with the help of the supply schedule. Like we were explaining the law of demand with the help of the demand schedule. Here we are going to study the law of supply with the help of supply schedule and supply curve. We have a supply schedule here. This law can be explained with the help of supply schedule as well as by the supply curve. We have a tabular representation with the two columns. In the column 1, we are writing price of fountain pen. In the column 2, we are taking the quantity supplied per week of the fountain pen. We have the different prices, and we are going to study what happens to the quantity supplied at different prices. Initially, we have one fountain pen costs rupees 10 and the quantity supplied is 10 units. When price of the fountain pen increases from 10 to 20 per unit, quantity supplied of the similar commodity increases from 10 to 13 units of the commodity. Again, the price increases from 20 to 30, quantity supplied again increases from 13 to 20 units. When price again increases from 30 to 40 per unit, quantity supplied of the fountain pen increases from 20 units to 25 units. This shows that as long as the prices goes on increasing from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, in the similar manner, quantity supplied of the fountain pen increases from 10 to 13, then to 20, then to 25. It is clear that law of supply explains that there is a direct relationship between the quantity supplied of the commodity, or you can say the amount supplied of the commodity and its price. The price and the amount supplied of the commodity move to the same directions. Now, this tabular representation or supply schedule can also be explained with the help of the supply curve. This can be shown by a diagram as follows. We have the diagram here. We are saying that supply curve is nothing. It is only a graphical representation of supply schedule. We have the two axes, x-axis, or you can say the horizontal axis, and vertical axis, or you can say y-axis. Along with the horizontal axis, we are taking the quantity of fountain pen, or you can say unit supplied of the commodity, and along vertical axis, or you can say the y-axis, we are taking the price in RS. So, knowing the diagram, we have the different units of the commodity in the shape of 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30 along x-axis, the quantity or amount supplied of the commodity, and we have the price 10, 20, 30, 40. And it is clear that as long as the prices goes on increasing from 10 to 20, then to 30, then to 40, quantity supplied increases from 10 to 13, then 13 to 20, then 20 to 25. Now after completion of this, we are drawing a supply curve which slopes upwards to the right. This is again unlike to that of demand curve, which was sloping downwards from left to right, showing the nature of the law of demand. But here, the supply curve slopes upwards to the right, shows that the quantity supplied of a commodity and its price are directly related to each other. Both are moving to the same directions. The upward sloping supply curve explains that a consumer, a supplier supplies more and more of a commodity at a higher price than at a lower price. This is how the law of supply is explained with the help of the supply schedule and supply curve. Now, after the completion of the explanation of the law of supply, we have assumptions of the law here. We have certain assumptions on which the law of supply is based. First assumption is no change in income. The first assumption of the law of supply is there is no change in income of the individual. No change in the technique of production. Technique of production is also keeping constant. No change in transportation cost. There is no change in the transportation cost, which is another significant assumption of the law of supply. Cost of production be unchanged. There is no change in the cost of production of the commodity. The prices of other goods should remain constant. The price of the related goods should remain constant, which is another significant assumption of the law. And then there should not be any change in the government policy. Government policy also remains unchanged. Now, we have the exceptions of the law, or you can say limitation of the law. The law of supply is not applicable in case of these exceptions, or you can say the limitations. The first exception is exceptions regarding the future price. The law of supply is not applicable when a seller feels that the price of the commodity of his commodity is going to increase in future. He dumps his commodity and he supplies in future rather than at present. So the law of supply is not applicable. Then you are out of fashion goods. When a commodity goes out of fashion, in this case, law of supply is also not applicable. Agricultural products, we cannot increase the supply of agricultural products in a short notice, so the law is not applicable. Change in business, when a producer or a seller is willing to change his business, in case of this, he tries to sell his old stock as early as possible. Here, he sells more at a lower price than at a higher price. That is why the law of supply is not applicable in case of change in business. This is all about the law of supply. Thank you very much.